Hi everybody, Creative Katie, Karen Burchill, and I'm in my studio today and I am bringing you a craft hack video, and I'm really excited to be able to bring this video to you because it's something that many of you have been asking for. Now, in the past videos, you have seen me creating on these 4x4 already magnetized canvas board. I've done my sassy saying series on there. I've done some general purpose ones. I've done my coffee captions, just a whole variety of them. And I absolutely love working on this size, and I love that they are magnetized. I have sold these at craft fairs. I've given them as gifts, and they are absolutely wonderful. So there's no doubt in my mind as to why you are asking, where can I get these? Well, it was about last year this time that I discovered them in our dollar store, in our local dollar store. And by Christmas time, they had disappeared. You know what it's like in the dollar stores. Here today, gone tomorrow. And I've stocked the different dollar stores. Every time I'm somewhere else, I go to the dollar store and I look and I try to find them, and they're gone. They're not there. So while the stash of them, the supply, dried up, the need and the want to have these continued. You were watching my videos and asking, where do I get them? Where do I get them? And I wanted to find them for myself as well, because they were a great deal. Now, you can buy 4x4 canvas boards, and I'll put a link to some I found in Amazon. A pack of 12, which comes down to about 66 cents each. But then you have to add the cost of putting the magnet on, so that brings it, it's going to bring it to about 80 cents per canvas board, which isn't bad. But I like to do the full craft hack and save our crafting dollars so we can buy other major supplies. So I thought, I wanted to bring down that price point. So one day my husband and I were at a restaurant and I noticed the cardboard coaster, and cardboard coaster on the table, and something clicked, and I said, I wonder how that would take paint. Would it just absorb it and get all warped? What would it do? So I asked the friendly waitress for a few more, and she gave me a whole stash of them, and I went home and I started playing with them. And here's what I found. Now, because they have text on them and dark, and I don't want that, I found that I needed to put several coats of gesso. And I don't buy the expensive gesso, but still, it was a messy job. And if I could minimize that as much as I could, I would want to. But I thought, okay, let's just gesso these up and see, does it hold up? And it did. As you can see, it did not warp, despite, probably 3 shades of gesso. So I did some collaging on there and more layers of paint. And as you can see, they pretty much kept their shape. I put on crackle paste. I put on glass gel medium. And it took whatever I was going to give it, it took. And I thought, every time I go to a restaurant, I can take a couple, ask the waitress for some, and do it that way. And then it dawned on me, maybe, just maybe, I can buy them plain on Amazon. So I did some checking on Amazon and I hit the mother lode. They even advertised them as craft or art supply. So I went and I ordered 100 of them. And I thought, okay, I'm going to put these through the test. So again, I put crackle paste on them, I put modeling paste on them, I did drippage, whatever us art journalers and mixed media artists throw at our pages. That's what I tried to do, put on the coaster. And I was satisfied that they work really, really well. The coaster substrate took it all. Now I'm going to take one of those coasters and paint on it and finish it at the end so you can see the finished product. And I'm going to also give you some tips along the way when you're working with the coasters. Now the other thing is, when you're working with a coaster, if you don't end up liking what's on there, you don't have to pay the extra money to put the magnet on it. Or you can display just here's the one that I'm going to demo working on. You can display it on these cute little easels without the magnet. So they kind of replace that canvas board, and you can make a nice little gift that way. And there are other things that you can use these cardboard coasters for. Here's another one where I did the little painting on the cardboard coaster and I mounted it on this mini canvas. So I've got a few ideas for other things that I can use these for. So stay tuned to my channel. Make sure you've clicked the bell, and so you can be notified of upcoming videos. Let's talk cost. So at the dollar store, in a pack of 2, this cost me $1.25 Canadian, which is roughly $1 American, which is 50 cents per canvas board that's already magnetized. So my goal was to get to a similar price, if not less than that. And in Canada, it's a little pricier, but still within a good price point. So you can get these packs of these coasters in packs of 50 and packs of 100. Now I've put a link to the one that's a pack of 100 simply because it's the exact same brand, everything that I have been testing. I'm not sure if there's different manufacturers or whatever, so I can't guarantee that every cardboard coaster on Amazon is going to stand up to whatever we're going to throw at it like these did. And I think it's a Bar Dudes branch, but you can use your own judgment and stuff. Now you might think 100's a lot, but like I said, there are other uses, and I'm going to use some of these in my index card a day challenge. This is going to be my less than perfect substrate. I know you're supposed to use index cards. Hopefully Daisy Yellow will forgive me, but for me this makes more sense. If it turns out and it's something that would make a good fridge magnet, I can add a magnet to it and finish it up, maybe for a craft sale, maybe for a gift. And if not, you know, it's 17 cents. So that's well within keeping in my mind. So when you buy it in the packs of 50 or 100, the price comes out to about the same. It comes to about 16, 17 cents US per cardboard coaster. Then I went on a search for the magnetized sheets. And if I want to make them the same size as what is comparable on here, and I love having the full sheet of this. This measures 3.5 by 3.5, and I think it looks really good on the back. You can cut the cost by making that the magnet smaller. You decide for yourself. But if you take it and make it roughly 3.5 by 3.5, you can get them, and you order sheets that are either 8 by 10 or 8.5 by 11. You can get 6 of them out of one sheet. So that brings that to about 17 cents per magnet, which brings it, you know, between around the 35-cent mark for a cardboard coaster magnet. And I think that's pretty decent, because remember, the ones from the dollar store cost 50 cents US. These ones were about 35 cents US. So in Canada, just so you know, the cost of the 100 was about $25. I noticed right now today when I went and checked, it's a lot more money. So it does go up and down. So put it in your bin and wait for the price to go down, because I paid 25 bucks. So that's about 25 cents a coaster. The magnetic sheets, I have searched and searched and searched on Amazon, and I can't get a decent price on Canada on Amazon.ca for the magnet sheets. So I'm buying them at the dollar store, and they are a lot pricier than what you would be paying in the States. So just for those fellow Canadians. So in a minute, I'm going to turn the camera down, and I am going to demo the creation of actually this magnet, cardboard coaster magnet, and show you exactly how I take the magnet sheet, here's the leftover piece, how I cut this, how I mount it, and give you some tips that I've learned along the way. The cardboard is soft, and so you're going to have to deal with that, whereas the canvas board, you know, is harder. This, if you gouge it, it's going to be gouged. So there are things you need to consider, but I think it's a great substitute. It's a great price point. I've put links to Amazon.com below for the cardboard coasters, for the magnetic sheets, as well as the plain canvas boards. If you want to order them, that would be great. Remember, anything you order from Amazon, I may get a small commission from it, but you do not pay more. And the one I've linked to you at the time of linking was the best price. It was also free shipping, which I never pay for shipping on Amazon. So I hope you'll join me. Oh, the other thing about these coasters I didn't mention, I love the round corners. It's so nice. I mean, if you've watched my index card a day challenge, you'll know that I've always rounded the corners. I just love that look, and these are already rounded. So flip the camera down. I'm going to show you how I created this one, including how I attached the magnet and tips along the way. Thanks for watching. Bye for now. So here is the cardboard coaster, and I've put a coat of gesso on the surface as well as the sides. Remember, this is porous, and I wanted to seal that because we tend to use wet medium, and I wanted to protect my coaster from that, and that's one of the uses of gesso. So I'm going to use this light purple color. This is Liquitex Basics. It's a heavy-bodied paint, and I'm just going to get a base color down here, and I'm adding a little bit of white as well, because I don't like my backgrounds to be one tone, and I'm trying to match that purple on this free clip art butterfly, free printable butterfly that I have, because I want something in the focal point to match with the background. And I'm not trying to make this all one tone. I like having some lighter areas and darker areas. So there I am painting the side of it. And some of it I do paint on the back, because you'll see when I put the magnet on, there is a ridge of it. And I like to have the color wrap around, especially if I am doing this up to sell or to give as a gift. So it's just easier to do when you are actually creating. And again, it seals it somewhat so that if moisture gets near it or on it later, it's also going to protect it because you don't want it to get out of shape. Now, when you are using the paint, it does take a little bit longer to dry than when you are using canvas because the coaster's job is to absorb moisture. So you need to spend a little more time. I would paint a whole bunch and probably leave them overnight. So now I've grabbed my Crazy Waves stencil from the Crafter's Workshop, and I'm stenciling on here with, believe it's dioxazine purple and quinacridone magenta. And I like using a couple colors, 2-3 colors when I'm stenciling because I like the look that that gives me. I love this Crazy Wave stencil because there's 4 different patterns on it. So like I'm doing here, I'm just using one of those patterns. And I love this design. I wish that she would create a complete stencil with just that design. So there I've put the purple, and then I'm adding a little bit of white, and then I'm going to come and add some magenta and just add the different colors just to get some variety and some interest. Now this coaster, I'm not putting on anything that's going to give it texture. I've just tried to keep it relatively simple. But I have collaged on them with Mod Podge and I had no trouble. I've put, the texture paste and let that dry. It does, again, it takes a little bit longer to dry because the coaster absorbs and hangs on to that moisture. So that's one of the big things, and then sealing the edges. The other thing that I already talked about is because it's a softer substrate, you can, if I pressed in it with my finger, I could gouge it. So you need to be a little careful with regard to that. I mean, if I did gouge one, I would then just take it and use that and collage on it and kind of mask it and cover it up. So there you can see the pink and the purple, and I think that just adds interest. And I'm just edging this with the purple paint. Again, I like the finished edges. And I'm just using a makeup sponge here and going around the edges, and that worked really, really well. Probably quicker and easier than using a paintbrush. And because the acrylic is like plastic, applying the paint is also sealing those raw edges. I think these would make a really good thing for, kids to decorate the coasters, and you can put a fridge magnet on it. Wouldn't they make great gifts? Or my wine about it sayings that I made my wine bottle tags, but I could just make fridge magnets using those same sayings. Then I'm just adding some splatter in the magenta and in that dark purple as well. And as usual, I'm using the fan brush. I find that gives me the most consistent splatter size that I like. And I thin that acrylic paint down with water. There I'm adding the second color. Usually I dry in between because if you get a splotch on top of a splotch, they're going to mix, but I was winging it. I didn't worry too much about it. Oh, I did it a third color here. I've added white as well. And I think I picked all those colors because all those colors are in the focal point, in the butterfly, that my free printable. So I'm using matte gel medium, and I'm going to glue down both the sentiment, seek balance, and the butterfly. Now the paper that I've used to print out the butterfly, I just bought a stack of paper from Costco, and I don't know if it was just Costco brand. It was the only paper that they had, but it's a little thicker than the copy paper that I've been purchasing at Staples, and I really, really like it. It's perfect. It doesn't pill as quickly. It just stands up a little bit more to our mixed media application. And I'm putting gel medium on the top. And when I gift these or if I give them away, I do put a coat of Sealant Sealer on it. Either you can spray it with Krylon, and I would buy the low odor or no odor one because I'm very sensitive to smells, and I find that works. And you can get that in either a matte or a gloss finish. But more times than not, I use Minwax polyacrylic, and I buy that at the hardware store, at Home Depot, at Lowe's. Um, I really like the effect of that. I haven't tried it on the coaster, but I don't anticipate any problems. But I'll report back to you. Actually, I did. I used it on that one canvas, and there was no problem. It didn't absorb or cause any kind of distortion of the cardboard coaster. So yeah, it totally worked. I've got my fine line bottle, and again, in there I just have Liquitex Basic paint. This one is black, and I thin it down to the right consistency. I don't have measurements, I'm sorry. I just I add a little bit and I add water and I test it. You do not have to press very hard on the bottle to get it to flow. And then I'm going around the edge. I just find that really finishes it off. So again, links to the cardboard coasters, links to the magnets, the canvas boards, the bulk canvas boards, as well as anything else I've talked about in this video that I can find a link for, I'll put in the description box below. Thank you so much for supporting my channel by shopping through my links. If you don't necessarily have to buy stuff that I link to. Once you go through my link, anything you purchase, craft supply or otherwise, I will get a commission on it. So I'd like to thank you for supporting my channel in that way. I thought I was done here, but then I decided, I'm going to shade, and I'm just using float acrylic technique. Now here's where if I was using a Stabilo all pencil or watercolor pencil or Inktense pencil, I would be very careful about how much pressure I'm putting on the cardboard because it is soft. I just wanted to shade, make that butterfly stand out a little bit more. And I'm doing the same around the sentiment. So if you buy these and you come up with an idea for how to use them in your mixed media art, please tag me when you post it on Facebook or in Instagram. I'd love to see what we can create with these wonderful coasters. Thanks so much for watching. As always, leave me a comment, share the video, give me a thumbs up. Here's some close-ups.